Hello there. So I'm going to go through a different strategy to complete no harvest. So that's beat cornfield and chips without removing any corn. So I initially did this using a strategy guide from Ethan Reed. It's a very solid guide. Very easy to get a black border with that. But I just wanted to sort of talk about how you can come up with your own strategies on this to do achievements like this. So let's go. So again, we're doing cornfield on chimps. So you might see my hero is Ezili. So how we're going to do this is there are 3 fundamental spots that sort of have place besides the center square, and we're only going to use one of them. So the 3 spots are right here, right here, right here, and any small imprint tower can fit in those. And so, and I think even not just small can fit there, but maybe small and almost small, I should say, the footprint with one size smaller. So you can see we have a dart monkey here, and I'll drag it over, and we're going to put this guy on last. Okay, and then we're going to take a Druid, and we're going to get him as high up without any red in the top there. So like right there. And as far over without any red over here. So like about right here. Okay, and we're just going to hit play. And there's round 6. And round 7 is going to be more of the same. On round 8, we're going to place or I guess between round 8 and round 9, we're going to place a wizard monkey. So we're going to place him like right about here, about as far down and as far to the left as you can in the middle. We're going to get guided magic on him and put his targeting to strong. We're going to leave his targeting on strong the rest of the game. And now we're going to save up for Ezili. It's important that we place Ezili as soon as possible. The reason being, and we'll see this at the end of the game too. So we need to place her. Just place her to the side of the Druid, as close to the Druid as you can. It's important that you have her placed in the middle of round 12 so you get the end of round experience for round 12. The can't think off the top of my head. So for the wizard, get him Arcane Blast, and then slow it down for round 15. Round 15, there is RNG. Sometimes, for whatever reason, it seems like the first time I always go through, it doesn't want to work. But then the second time it works easy, so. Oh, make sure Ezili's targeting is on strong. Okay. As soon as we can get intense magic. This time it worked first try, and this is clear sailing for most of the rest of the game. So we're going to hit speed up. And I kind of just stumbled into this because I wanted to find my own sort of chimp strategy on this map rather than using a guide. I kind of just stumbled into this, and I wanted to sort of talk about the synergy of this. So the next tower we're going to get, it's going to be the last tower actually placed down, is the last defense. is Spike Factory. There we go. We're going to put him on close. And he's going to be our cleanup tower. And he's actually going to have the fewest pops of all our towers. In fact, we placed all our towers down that we're going to need for the rest of the game. So then on the Druid, I get a 1-1, and we're going to get him to 1-3. So Druid of the Jungle. It's important you do not get Heart of Thunder. I repeat, do not get Heart of Thunder as an upgrade. And so we should get this in the middle of round 27. And we have it. Okay, we're not going to touch the Druid for a very long time. Okay, so now we can put Ezili's target back onto first. It's important we have it on first later on for her Moab, when we use her Moab Hex. So next we're going to get long life spikes, and then we're going to get deadly spikes in the 30s. And so nothing's going to happen until then. So see you then. So we're back in round 36, which is enough to get deadly spikes. And now all the spikes we're going to be placing with deadly spikes will be saved up for the Moab. And this is the key reason you get this guy is for the Moab. Get bigger stacks and white hot spikes. Okay. And so this is our Moab, our first Moab popper. Okay, and we're not going to touch our main thing. We've placed all the towers we're going to use. And we're going to get our Dart Monkey up to Juggernaut. Okay, so we see this guy is 330. He's going to have a few more. And longer range and enhanced eyesight. So 356 gets about 400 pops. So basically, we use all that deadly spike pile to pop the Moab. And so this strategy sort of uses strong towers in their best circumstance. If you didn't notice, we're going to be using the Dart Monkey. We're going to get him up to Ultra Jug. And in this little quarter, since he's shooting on last, those balls are going to bounce around in here, and it's going to obliterate anything less than a Moab when we get him up to Ultra Jug. Okay, it's going to decimate the super ceramics in very big piles of them. Around 63 and 78 and 76 are going to be no big deal. Now, the reason why the spike factory, especially the bottom path spikes, are so good is because they can convert excess power on rounds that are kind of easy to use that excess power onto harder rounds. So notice it hasn't gotten a single pop since the round 40 Moab, or maybe it's gotten like 5, but it's relatively insignificant. And we're converting all that into a spike pile for the next hard round, which is going to be 49. It's going to get a whole bunch of pops here before we get our Ultra Jug. We have our Ultra Jug. And now anything less than a Moab is going to get decimated in here. So notice I got about 200 more pops right here. And this thing is just gonna carry us until about round 60. And so I'll see you then. We're in the middle of round 55. I just wanted to sort of show what the Ultra Jug does to super dense packs of ceramics. You can see it obliterates them. And so 63 is going to be more of the same. But the key part, the reason why we had to get Ezili down for round 12, I sort of said we'll get to it later in the game too, is notice we're barely going to have Moab Hex by round 60 without any money. Now you might be like, well, if you put her down around later, couldn't you just buy Moab Hex? The answer is yes, but we'll talk more about that later in the game. And so 58. And 59, the ceramics and the things. Notice, we get Moab Hex on round 60. So just use it as soon as possible. And we're not going to do too much. But on round 62, there's going to be 2 fortified Moabs at the end of the round. So when you see those on screen, hex them. And then we see, the Ultra Jug just on these maps where it has high wall numbers, like Cornfield without removing any corn, Mesa, Encrypted, Moonfall, it just obliterates this round. And so just use Hex on 64 to take care of the fortified BFBs after Ultra Jug starts attacking. And then we're going to have to hex the double BFB wave at the end of 65. Takes a while for that to come out. Hex is already back. So you get a group of Moabs. Just let them go through. And we have the 2 BFBs. So just put it on the first one. And Ultra Jug. Oops. I hit it too fast, but you can see with a single BFB, Ultra Jug can take care of it. At least in its weakened state. And now we have Perma Spike. And so Perma Spike is the safety net. Notice we're not even, it doesn't even have that many pops. Everything else, 28,000. Even the Wizard has more pops than it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get up to a Prince of Darkness. And so kind of when you have to use Moab Hex on the big balloons. So what's sort of the strategy of this defense? Well, Ultra Jug sort of is the cheap Tier 5. It allows us to get these power towers. Perma Spike, Prince of Darkness, and eventually this guy will get up to Spirit of the Forest. And so Ultra Jug is the one that allows us to get up to those for that relatively cheap price. And so any Oh My Gods and bigger, Ezili's Hex is going to take care of. DDTs by Prince of Darkness. And any cleanup with Perma Spike. And then Spirit of the Forest is going to sort of speed up the rounds as they happen. I guess we can get Necromancer right now. So when you get Necromancer, you're going to wait till Hex. The Moab is when they're going up, so they count for the Necromancer pop count. You can, with the new update, place where you want the Necromancer balloons to spawn. It doesn't matter. And so it's basically just kind of wait out, and nothing major is going to happen until round 80. We're going to Moab Hex the ZOMG, and so I'll probably just show round 76 just to show how good Ultra Jug is on those kind of rounds. So when I'm talking about Hex, is doing a Hex at the end here, and notice Ultra Jug just cleans up with the Vine basically regrowing them. It's 76 is very easy. 78 is going to be more of the same. So 77, when the BFBs get to here or they're break to Moabs. So you can see Ultra Jug just decimates the super dense ceramic wave on 78, and the Camo 1, which is even smaller, is going to be even easier to take care of. You want to Hex as they're coming up so that the Necromancer gets that. And here we see that thing. 79, just let it play, you'll be fine. And then we'll come back on 78. Okay. Sorry. So we're almost at Prince of Darkness. So what you want to do is wait to mow up Hex until it turns up and the prince or the necromancer's attacking it, and that way he gets the pop count for the ZOMG getting hexed. That's why you don't want to hex it when it's up here. And then watch Ultra Jug just go to work here. Perma Spike just eating up anything that we don't pop. And we get Prince of Darkness. What you want to do is you want to wait to sort of hex things as they get close, so that way the Prince of Darkness gets the pop count for its graveyard. Now, Ezili is beyond level 7 or 11. Sorry, a level 11. Her level 11 greatly empowers. 50% Pierce increase on the small balloons and the Moabs. It doesn't buff the BFB reanimated balloons, but those things are strong anyway. And so, on a single lightning track, we see Prince of Darkness is super strong. With the Zomai Gods, what you want to do is you want to wait, like the first one, wait until the first one's up and bending, and then you want to hex it so the graveyard counts get full. So right about now, as the second one turns up, that way Prince of Darkness now it's a full graveyard. Same thing with 87. We're going to hex when all 4 of them are turned up. So 87. Until all 4 have turned up, and then hex. And Prince of Darkness gets a full graveyard. Same thing with 88. Wait till the ZOMGs turn up and then press hex, which cooldown should be up, a little bit before that. 89, just let the play out. The fortified MOBs and BFBs are going to get far enough that they'll get into the graveyard for the pod. So it's keeping its 3,000. And as long as it starts the round with 3,000, it's going to evaporate the DDTs. So. Obviously, you don't want to do anything. Let the Moabs get as far as possible. Let the pod get its back up to its full graveyard. That way you can evaporate the... Oh, sorry, I was off by a round. So same thing here. When the pack of ZOMGs all turn up, then we're going to use the Hex. That way the Prince of Darkness has the full graveyard. And pod having the full graveyard means the DDTs get nowhere. And now we're at the point... Oops. We can get Spear of the Forest. Again, do not get Heart of Thunder on Spear of the Forest. You're going to see why. Again, you don't want to hex the ZOMGs until they've all turned up. That way they go into the pod's graveyard. In this case, you're popping them with Spirit's damage before Hex is even worth it. And now the DDTs are getting far enough. Pod gets its graveyard back, and at 3,000, it just stops the DDTs in their track. And so this is one where you like to see fortified MOABs and BFBs, because that means pod's going to get stronger. Because normal BFBs and MOABs, they don't get far enough because Spirit and Ultra Jug just decimate them in time. Again, wait until they are all turned up, and then Hex. Okay. 97, same thing, wait until they both turned up, and then Hex. Hex should be off cooldown about that time. Actually, just press it as soon as it's off cooldown. 98, 99, you can just let play out. And now we see why, for 100, why we wanted Ezili need to be placed around 12, and why we couldn't buy Heart of Thunder. Again, full pod graveyard. Notice 272. If we didn't place her on round 12, we wouldn't have enough money to buy up to level 20 to use her level 20 on the bad. And no harvest. Okay. Chimps done without removing any of the corn. And we only used 5 towers too, so placements were a little bit, I mean, the only one that's hard to place is the Druid, but it's not like super strict by any means. And we see Ultra Jug, again, on these maps where there's a lot of walls, like Cornfield when you have all the corn up, it's really good. Single lane tracks, obviously, Pod, Spirit, and Perma Spike are also super strong on single lane tracks. In fact, on a single lane track, probably Perma Spike is the strongest tower, because you convert easy round and convert it into things you can use into hard rounds. It's the only tower, basically the only tower that can do that. If you see, even on this one, only 12,000. In fact, most of that was on round right before we got Pod in the 80s. I think 81 or 82, and it's actually by far and away the least pops of these. Okay, I just want to sort of say that because we only had 200 some cash left. That's about the amount of experience you get from having Ezili out on level 12. So that's why it was so important to get her out then, and that's why you can't buy Heart of Thunder for this thing. So I kind of just sort of stumbled into this on my own, but this just sort of shows you about how to sort of use strong towers properly placed. Now you might be like, isn't a middle path better? Yes, it's better, but you need to buy an Alchemist, and again, we don't have the money to buy an Alchemist to buff it. An Alchemist can fit right here though. And so if you didn't want to buy Ezili at a level 20 and just wanted to buy an Alchemist just to buff this go, the Perma Spike, you could. It just, I wanted to show level 20, buying Ezili up. Make round 100 pretty easy. Okay. So, yeah. Hopefully this helps. I've turned the innate volume and the hero sounds down so it doesn't overbear my voice. Hopefully this helps. Thank you and goodbye.